So we pointed to many examples of the practice of cash bail and how it really crushes poor people. That is what it does. So a recent story out of Arkansas really lays it out. Let's take a look at this headline, and I will read it just in case you're only listening and not looking. Man who couldn't afford bail dies after losing nearly 100 pounds in jail, a lawsuit says. So Larry Eugene Price Jr. was 50 years old, young man, relatively young, a homeless and weighed 185 pounds when he arrived at Sebastian County Jail and had his bail set at $1,000 in August of 2020, according to a complaint filed in federal court on January the 13th. Over the course of a year, Price awaited his day in court and was neglected by jail staff as he lost nearly 100 pounds, resembling a famine victim, the complaint says. On the day of his death, Price weighed 90 pounds with a morbidly skeletal appearance. On August the 20th, 2021, according to the complaint. Now, this is the United States of America. This should not be happening anywhere, sisters and brothers, family and friends, but we're talking about the United States of America. So Price's arrest could have been avoided. It could have been avoided had he been provided the proper care that he needed. So on August the 19th, 2020, Price walked into the police station, verbally threatened officers and made gun gestures with his hands, the complaint said. It argues that this behavior was a clear expression of mental illness. So instead of arresting Price, these officers should have helped him get the proper assistance that he needed, especially he was making gestures with his hands and not with a weapon, with his hands. The instinct should have been to get him help, but no, that's not what happened. And so we've seen the horrors of cash bail. This is just one of many examples, and unfortunately, we're gonna continue to have examples. Ben, this definitely makes me mad and sad at the same time.
Yeah, it's absolutely infuriating because like fundamentally, like, I mean, think about it, okay? There's no protection in place for people to keep their jobs if they're in jail, right? And so like literally you just not having enough cash one particular day in your life could lead to you losing your job. It could also potentially lead to you losing your kids and things like that. And it's also important to understand that this is part of why so many people take plea bargains in the United States and don't even go through the whole trial process, because the entire system is designed to be inherently coercive. That the techniques that police officers are allowed to use in the United States in their interrogation methods are effectively coercive and torture methods that are used to like force confessions out of people. And the whole reason this all exists is because it turns out that it's an incredibly profitable industry to funnel people into prisons so they can literally either make no wages or dirt wages for giant companies. I mean, I can pretty much guarantee you that in the past month, you've purchased something from a company that has used prison labor, right? It is the one exception to the slavery part of the Constitution in the United States that we have, and it exists for a reason. It's quite literally why people like Richard Nixon created the war on drugs, fundamentally as a pretense to lock up political opponents and to lock up black and brown folks for no reason, but actually there is a reason, and that's profits of giant companies. And that's why cash bail exists, and that's why there's so much of this right-wing push for cash bail to stay, because fundamentally it is a coercive tactic that is used to push marginalized people into taking plea bargains so that they're forced to work for these giant companies in these prisons.
Certainly, and the whole notion, the private prison. So all of this goes hand in hand. They just got a cottage industry going. That's exactly what this is. No prison should be private, in my opinion, and the opinion of many other legal justice experts, because no one should be able to make a profit off of other people's misery. There's a profit motive to keep people coming to prison if it's a private prison. Lindsey Boland put this up. Khalif Browder was held at Rikers without trial in 2010 through 2013 for allegedly stealing a backpack containing valuables. During his imprisonment, Browder was in solitary confinement for 700 days. 2 years after his release, Browder hanged himself at 22. We have two different systems, and we talk about this. We use this as one of the many examples because it's so shocking and disturbing. Everybody should be disturbed about this. Everybody should be. But such examples are just part of a larger picture. Bail settlers regularly give high bail assignments without considering an individual's ability to pay, even though most Americans lack the resources to cover many emergency expenses. In 2017, 57% of Americans could not afford a $500 emergency expense without incurring debt. That stat is coming from the Center for American Progress. And the negative impacts of cash bail are far reaching. It threatens the health of those arrested, their families, and their communities. It drains valuable economic resources from families and communities, disrupts current employment, Ben laid that out, and creates barrier to future employment, results in family separation and has adverse effects on children, perpetuates cycles of homelessness and incarceration. Again, Center for American Progress, thank you for that. And with that said, some states have taken the steps forward with bail reforms. There are some people out there who understand that this system is rotten to the core. It is a classist system and it is also a racist system. And though none bigger than Illinois, let's put up this headline. Illinois will become the first state to do away with cash bail. Thank you, NPR, for laying that out. All right, other states, where you at? On this one, you definitely need to follow Illinois' lead. We have so much work to do when it comes to this cash bail itself and the legal justice system overall. It needs an overhaul, and we need that to happen right away. Big ups to Illinois.